to be able to build something that could be a business of the future to be able to bring a profit.
And when you leave here on Saturday evening, you'll be version 2.0. You'll be a smarter person, more confident, and you'll learn a lot in the process, and you'll be a happier person.
I'll let you into a little secret. If we don't get decent 1-minute pictures at the start of the event, there is no show. So that's the thing that I'm always sweating about the night before. This time around, 34 1-minute pictures, cracking ideas, some of them absolutely brilliantly delivered just on day one. And so as soon as I sort of we've got those pictures out, I knew we were going to have a great year.
So the really awesome thing about Sync the City this year is that we've got a massive range of diversity going from students and young people from kind of sixth form right up to the 60s, from people who have started their own business to people who have worked in corporate for a long time and are looking at different ways to connect to their lives. We also have over 40% female attendance this year, which will be all really proud.
Wow, like literally watching that back, like if you could see the hairs on my arms, judges, I'm sure you can kind of see in the light, they are literally stood upright. Like it is amazing to see what these fantastic people at the back of the room have achieved literally since Thursday night. So I'm going to apologize because I've not slept much since Thursday night, so don't judge me if I'm looking a little bit worn out right now, because we have had an incredible few days. So, I feel like I haven't got my presentation up. Come on, look. Have you seen what these guys have created? And you can't even get me my right slides. Okay. Let's try again. Right, round of applause, everyone. Woo! So, wow, what an incredible, incredible event. So, look at the screen ahead of you. Now, what I would like our wonderful audience, we are so delighted that you've come to join us today. Anything that you have in your hands right now, I'd like you to pop gently on the floor. Make sure you don't knock any of your drinks over. I would like you all to stand up, judges as well, stand up. I would like you to turn yourselves around and face to the back of the room and put your hands together for the biggest round of applause for these absolute heroes. Amazing, amazing work. Thank you. Thank you to every person who chose to turn up here on Thursday night and join us for this event. It is not easy to walk through the doors and come and join a group of people that the chances are you've never met before. But not only are you coming into a room full of strangers, you're also preparing a 1-minute pitch to come and try and get those strangers to vote for you and vote for your idea. And what amazing pitches we had. So we started with, I think it was 34 pitches, probably the best pitches that we've seen so far in Sync the City. And we managed to drill them down into 10 incredible businesses. Now, we could not do this without our sponsors. And I think we'll all agree that this event is one that creates just amazing opportunities for so many people. So thank you to the sponsors who have made this possible for us. And we have primary sponsors in the UEA. We have Aviva, Leeds Prior, Greater Anglia, incredible businesses helping us to make this happen. So thank you. We also have a number of supporting sponsors. We have Artlist. Woohoo! We have At One. We have Langham Recruitment. And we have Laurie Burrows in the house. And the all-important, we have needed to be fed and watered and a few other drinks to keep us going. So thank you to the sponsors who gave us our food, our drink, and will be providing the food and drink for you tonight. So Norfolk County Council, Breakwater IT, Polygon, Brew Digital, and Naked Tech. Thank you. We are going to enjoy those drinks tonight. Now, I think what makes our sponsors special, now let's face it, many of us will have organised events and gone out and got sponsorship to be able to help make something happen. But the thing that is special about Sync the City is the fact that the sponsors don't just hand their money over. They hand over their time, their blood, their sweat, their tears a few times. They absolutely go all in. We've had a number of our sponsors that are here today that have taken part in teams. We have got sponsors that are giving up their time for free to come and be mentors at the event. And we've got sponsors on our judging panel today. So I think that makes us pretty incredible. And to be honest, we don't want sponsors that are not going to do that. So we're pretty selective over the people that we choose to work with. Our judging panel. Now, we said that this was going to be a bit of a mixture between The Apprentice meets The X Factor, meets the other one, which I now can't remember as I'm stood up here 3 days in. What was the other one? Anyone remember? Yes, that's it. Thank you. Dragon's Den. I'll let you choose which one of the judges play which role. But we have Casper, the CEO of Sifted. We have got Fiona here today, Pro Vice Chancellor of the UEA. We've got Alice Reeves, CEO of Hethel Innovation. Josh Davies, who we had the pleasure of hearing at the start of our event, who is VP of Artlist. And we have got Louise Birateri, who is the CEO of Pickle. So thank you, judges, for coming to join us. Now, I have to say, I have been lucky enough to see what these teams have created in such a short space of time. I do not envy you judges in terms of the job that you have got ahead of you, because you need to choose which one of these incredible teams is going to win the £3,000 prize. And it's not easy for the people in the room either, because you're going to have to choose who's going to be your people's choice and take home the £1,000 prize. We've got a Brucey bonus in here with £500 that will be used for the best team that's used the Web3 technology. And the learning, I think we'll all agree, guys, is absolutely priceless. But what they also get is a Norfolk Network membership. And so there's some incredible things for our teams. Now, last year we had some amazing winners. We had the team Don't Skip It, Scoop It. So Scoop, who have gone on, and David and his team are continuing to do incredible things. We also had the People's Choice of Zing, making Peel more appealing. I said that without getting in a muddle, which is good. But do you know what? Winning isn't it. And if we get at the end of it a great business idea that goes on to do something, it's just kind of a bonus, because this event is so much more than that. And having been lucky enough, I think this is my 4th time of being here with Sync the City, I've seen this community grow and thrive. We've got 17, 18-year-olds coming here in this room full of professionals that start as this real timid and not quite sure what they're doing, and they come out with so much confidence and learning. We're introducing people to their future employers. I can vouch for that in the fact that I think it was in my 1st or 2nd year, I mentored an incredible team, and there was a young man called Nathan who just blew me away in the team. And so the following week, I invited him in to come and see me at the company I was working for at the time, EPOS Now, and I offered him an internship. And within probably a year or so, I think he's overtaken me in sense of he's gone on to do some amazing things. But it doesn't just stop there. Not only did Nathan come in and get an amazing job at EPOS Now, I left and went to another company. And what do you think I did? I tapped Nathan up and I took him with me. And at that other company, Nathan then met up with a friend that he recognised and thought, hang on a second, Matthew, I know you. We worked together at Sync the City. And this amazing friendship then bloomed. And not only was it a friendship, Nathan was then Matthew's, best man, that's the one, best man at his wedding. So it's incredible that an event like this is creating such amazing friendships. So I'm very excited for you to be able to be here and learn a little bit more about just the process that we have been through. And no better man to talk you through that than the heart, soul, brains behind this. Please welcome John to the stage.
Thank you, Hayley. Thank you, Hayley. That's great. Yes, so we've been having fun. We haven't really left this room over the last two and a half days, so I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing. So at the beginning, you saw a little bit of a video, and I was saying you're upgrading. So that's what I said when we opened on Thursday. I said, you're going to enter this experience, the participants, as version 1.0, and you're going to leave as version 2.0. You're going to upgrade all your skills, your confidence, etc. Or you may even get to version 4. We'll see after the pitches. But I showed sort of a linear path there in terms of how you're going to upgrade. But I guess this is kind of the actual experience that you may have experienced during the whole process. It wasn't so straightforward, was it? And what I also say to people, it's a 54-hour event, and you get to experience perhaps a whole year working in a business condensed into 2.5 days. You really get to experience all the highs and lows that you would do. And, a lot of the methodologies we approach is lean startup method, agile software development, failing fast, validating your proposition as early as possible. And, you come from the highs out of that initial pitch, and that's on the Thursday, you're all feeling really positive, and then you start doing your research, your competitor research, your market research, and you realize there's loads of other competitors out there, or people don't really, you're unable to validate your proposition to your customers, and then you dive straight down, and you want to pivot, or you want to persevere, and then you might think that you hired the wrong team, or you're in the wrong team. You might not have the skills. You might not know what you're doing. We have people moving teams afterwards. All these things happen genuinely in businesses. And then you just feel like a completely out of your comfort zone. You really don't know what you're doing. Whose bells is that? That's probably my wife calling or something. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so it's highs and lows. You're going all over the place, and then, really in the Saturday afternoon, you see it all coming together. But actually, this kind of process is modeled really in the industry in terms of the Gartner hype curve. They publish every year where companies are on this cycle as they go, through. Let me read it. I can't quite read it there. Yes, they go on to the innovation trigger, which is that initial pitches, when those people, we had those 34 people pitching ideas, and then you're all hyped up, inflated expectations of what you're going to achieve, and then you come diving down into trough of disillusionment, and then you slowly crawl your way up to realizing your vision. So it did start. We were strict. You come up on the stage. We don't actually plan this event at all. It's kind of a scary event because you don't know what's going to happen, as Tom said there. We don't pre-screen any of the pitches or anything like that. So people just queue up on the side of the stage, and they come up. They got strictly 1 minute to pitch their problem and solution, and really they're trying to. That's like the recruitment process. You're trying to excite people, and the audience is your potential pool of team members, really. You're trying to build your startup. So it starts there to get on stage, to convince the people out there to join your startup. We go through the series of voting rounds. We use high-tech technology, which you guys will be using later. They're tokens. They're not on the blockchain. They're actually tiddlywinks. So, yeah, we use those. So you will be getting a tiddlywink later. So through a series of voting, we'll get down to the final 10. And then those people who've got those winning pitches, then they go straight out and start recruiting the team. And that is complete chaos. It's organized chaos, but we also need to make sure it's fair. You can't steal all the skills. We need to make sure we have, a good selection of tech, non-tech, and designers, and also we've got the students to consider. So it is a bit of a land grab, and suddenly there's a massive team that's got everyone, and we kind of need to try and break it up and break a few hearts at the same time. But yeah, we're able to do it in about half an hour, and the teams are formed. Then they're just on it and building their startup, we have a structured process around it. You would have seen, the judges would have seen some of that where you're doing workshops, you're filling out canvases like the business model canvas, you're doing your market research, you're building a prototype, a working prototype, you're building a spreadsheet, a financial model, all those kinds of things. So out the back of it come some startups, and these are the logos. So this is the cohort for 2022. So a round of applause for all the new startups we've created in the last 2 days. So these are the names. So we're going to go, we're going to stop waffling now. We're going to get to the exciting bit where they're all going to come up on stage and pitch in this order. So please make notes and get ready to come up in that order. Make note of who's before you and after you, teams. And again, we're very strict on this next process. It's 5-minute pitch. We'll be ringing, Sophia will be ringing a bell at the beginning, and then there'll be another ring at 4 minutes, and then there'll be a ring at 5 minutes, and then you have to stop. And then there'll be 3 minutes for the judges to ask questions. By the way, the judges have already met all the teams earlier today to have a look at what they've produced. But now this is really the business end where they're really going to question the viability of the business, because the judges have got £3,000 to award to the winning team. And then you, the audience, you're also getting an opportunity to vote. So make sure you track your favorite team. We've got £1,000 for the People's Choice, so you'll be voting with your tiddlywink. And then, we have the bonus £500, which will be for a team that's using Web3 technologies. So we're just going to play a little show reel before we get onto it. Hi, we're here down at King Centre.
It's definitely for fun, without a doubt.
And I'm going to monetize it up the yin yang.
Right, okay. Great show reel there, produced by Tim. So we got enhanced interiors up first. Right, let's just give all these teams just some encouragement as they go up for this scary part of doing their 5-minute pitches. One last cheer to get them all pumped up. Let's do it. Come on, let's do it. Right. Let's do it. So we got Enhanced Interiors. You're up first.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Milan, and today I want to share with you the future of internal design solutions. Let me set the scene. It's November 2020. I think you'll agree you're a pretty strapping Scottish gentleman, and you've just bought a first property in the north of Norwich. Your name? Nick Anderson. You are the mastermind behind this project. You are the warlord. Unfortunately, the previous owners of the property have not been the best internal designers, and they've placed, for some reason, a radiator within a plaster wall which has inevitably fallen out. So what do? Well, you head down to the shop, you pick out some samples for wallpaper that are going to work. You get one that you think's going to do the idea, you're going to think it's going to do the job. You get about 3/4 of the way through the job. And it's okay, but it's just not you. You don't have the money to get a private designer to take a look, and you don't have the time to strip it. So the wall is lost, and it remains in an imperfect state to this very day. The warlord is the most recent casualty in the war on interior design. And in fact, from a lot of our interviewees, 2/3, in fact, we found that this problem was the same. And a lot of people were finding that they were spending an unnecessary £150 on average in extra wallpaper and a lost 16 hours that they're never going to get back. So what's the solution? Well, it's EI. Enhanced Interiors. Let me reset the scene. This time, you have an advantage over the warlord. You have EI. You open the app, you pick a wallpaper of your choice, you point your camera at the wall, and voila, you have a 3D augmented reality depiction of the wallpaper on the wall before you've bought it. Once you've found a wallpaper of your choice, you'll be directed straight to the supplier for online order. Now, I know what you're thinking. Surely this has been done before. Well, you're almost right. There are some similar items on the market, but our product differs in two key ways. First of all, a lot of the big players focus on professional designers, creating large paywalls behind their products that essentially mean that they're reserved for the pros. At EI, we like to have the most important part of any market as the core of our business plan, the consumer. And we want to make sure that there is no paywall in order between the consumer and their wallpaper of their dreams. Secondly, I'd like to turn your attention to this side-by-side of a competitor and, of course, EI. As you'll see, there are quite a few key differences. Our wallpaper actually sticks to the wall. It takes into account the lighting, and it provides extra information. Why is this? Well, other developers are great, and they are behind the other technology. But they don't have one thing. They don't have the brains of the warlord. Now, judges, I'm sure that you heard the words no paywall and had a minor aneurysm, and I don't blame you. But there is money in this idea, and it comes from the suppliers and fellow app developers. Our market, which captures 360 million in valuation in 2021, has essentially allowed for us to have profit projections, including the commission that we would take and white labeling in order to project 61,000 in profits from the first year and 253,000 from year 3. But why stop there? Yes, our product only works on walls right now, but it could work on floors, it could work on ceiling ornaments, and it could even work on furniture. Indeed, the only limit to our product is the walls themselves. Thank you. Okay, far away. What we got?
That was a great presentation. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
And some really good wall puns thrown in for good measure.
I've got plenty of them.
So my question to you is, one of your key customers are the suppliers, I assume companies like B&Q and so on.
Yeah.
So the question really is, what would make them come to you? How will you get them to sign up to your app and product?
So essentially, one of the tiers to our monetization would look into internal advertising of these places for the wallpapers. And while that is an extra stream of revenue, we understand that people are not going to want to do that straight away if they're not sure how solid the app is. So the initial point really is creating a database that is as complete as possible so that people are drawn into just even the novelty of actually seeing what different wallpapers would look like on their walls. We think that one of the key ways, particularly what we got out of a lot of our interviews, is that the ability to use an app that actually accurately depicts that can create demand where demand didn't actually exist before. You know, you're scanning the walls, you're looking at different wallpapers, and suddenly you actually see one that, well, you weren't planning to like as much as you do. Suddenly you're quite interested in where you can get that. As soon as the suppliers start seeing that a lot of the traffic that they're getting is coming directly out of our app, suddenly that gives some incentive.
So how are they going to find you, your customers? So how are you going to bring people to your app, and how much do you think that's going to cost you?
So we have projections of this, and essentially what we're looking at over the first 4 years is about 22,000 coming out in terms of advertising. I think one of the big problems we picked up from asking people about their experiences with other products is that you have the same problem as we've just shown, where they're just a bit naff. You know, you don't really get the feeling of what the wall would actually look like, so you don't bother. And this was actually a problem that came out about asking people about the Dulux app, that essentially gave you, what the paint would look like, and the problem is they chose sort of a block vibrant color, nothing like it would look like if you actually put it on the wall. So, in terms of how they would actually find us, it's about showing people that the technology that we've developed can actually give you an accurate show of what clearly apps already in the market have found some traction to. One of the rival apps that we showed you, Lux Walls, despite it not doing things as well as we're doing, has had 900,000 users. So people want this technology, but it's about finding something that does the job right.
Hello. Hello, my name is Sean and I'm from Trust Me. We are using undeniable blockchain technology to solve the problem of false claims in CVs. Recruitment has a problem. People appear to be lying in their CVs in rather large numbers. People are making life-threatening claims about non-existent medical skills. There is a crisis of trust in society. That crisis will extend to recruitment without radical change. I don't trust this anymore. Fake claims on CVs are estimated to be costing business $600 billion annually. It's a big number. 17 billion of that is down to just the processing costs of working out whether there is truth in the CV or not. Trust Me is creating a blockchain platform that creates certainty. It takes the guesswork out of the CVs. Trust Me will be used by employees, by employers, by recruiters, by academic institutions and other training providers, and by thought leaders. Candidates gain a single source of truth where their entire track record is in one place. It makes them instantly more credible with employers and recruiters. Recruiters no longer have to manually cross-check claims in the CVs against reality. They no longer have to waste time on time wasters. They also become more credible to their clients, the employers. As far as employers are concerned, they get instant availability to see whether people are telling the truth or not. They get a holistic view right across their global workforce of who's got what skills, where, gained when, and how. And they cut out the costs of the validation from third-party providers. You are looking at the future of the CV. It contains information about track record and skills, as you'd expect, but these are now indisputably authentic. The BS is gone, and you now have a safer, more authentic recruitment environment. The problem you have right now is that technology of today is no longer fit for purpose. You can still fake it till you make it, as indeed we did, with Can You Trust Me, which we put onto LinkedIn yesterday and may well still be there as far as I know. So we have the solution set up like that. We obviously have big ambitions for the future, and we see that in 3 phases. We'll be increasing subscriptions, introducing subscriptions, and creating new revenue streams from sharing. Phase 1 is about building scale. It will be free to use in that phase. Phase 2 is about introducing subscriptions for recruiters and for employers. Phase 3 is about new premium products, a blog space for thought leaders, closed user groups for universities so they can remain in contact with alumni, for example, and a space for employees to rate employers. There are competitors out there. 2 are niche operations. We can take the value they have and incorporate that in our platform. Velocity Global is the closest competitor. It has taken, we think, a wrong turn with the technology. It is using its own mainnet. We think that's a wrong turn. It's going to limit their capacity for flexibility later on. We'll be based on Polygon, which is a low-carbon network that has much greater flexibility and ability to integrate in the future. Financial projections, we have a full P&L, of course. The main points are that we require 2 million in funding over 3 years, by when we have 20 million in revenue.
Hello, great
Hello.
presentation.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask 2 questions, and feel free to answer them in whatever order you want. But how do you feel that you can develop this without LinkedIn really getting involved? And more importantly, how could you stop them from just stealing it?
Well, I guess you might have asked a similar question about LinkedIn when it started. You know, why would you do LinkedIn when there were those wonderful things called newspapers that were doing a perfectly great job, right? So improvement is always the answer. And you could count numerous examples of where people have come in where there's already somebody in the space that's bigger, but better is improvement. The difference between, obviously, LinkedIn and us is that we have the validation in there, the blockchain validation. They may be working on it already, they may not. We think we have a unique proposition. Part of that unique proposition is we have circularity built into it. So the employer, why would an employer do the work of validating an employee's experience? By doing that, they are given credits against the searches they make against employees in the future. So there is a built-in mechanism for the employers to do that work. So we think that's a crucial advantage.
Would it be your plan to still try and work with someone like LinkedIn, or are you actually trying to be at odds with them?
I don't think it makes sense to go head-to-head with LinkedIn at all, no. So dialogue is always there. And of course, LinkedIn could be the exit route.
So how do you plan to get your first sort of group of employers on and validating? And is there a particular way you would go about getting this up and running? Okay,
so obviously in the first phase, we are offering this subscription free. So that's one advantage for them. It's the circularity, I think, that is the main point. If they want to have access to this system, which gives them numerous advantages, which we've listed here already, they need to do the validation of the employees. So there's that circularity, I think, that naturally creates the incentive.
And is there a particular group that you would try and target first?
Yeah, it makes sense to start with companies that are Web3 conversant. That would be the obvious starting sector. There's obviously also the capacity for working with large organizations, board members, for example. So we're in Norwich, so Aviva would be a great example, where they come on board and get the opportunity to experiment, test out the technology, see what advantages it gives them. That creates use cases, it creates proof of concepts, it creates trust.
Good evening. I'm Lila. I'm a film student from Anyway, and this is Shadow, Unlocking Your Storyboard. Whether it is a film, a YouTube video, or an advert, it all starts at the same place, an idea. But before we pick up a camera, we need to visualize it. We need to have a visual representation of what it would look like. There is a storyboard. The problem is that a lot of creative people don't have the artistic skills to be great at storyboarding. Shadow is a web app that unlocks this storyboarding from the creator's mind. This is Louisa. She comes up with amazing ideas for her company. She had to pitch an idea to her teammates, as we all do in the creative industry. This is her storyboard. Can you picture the advert? Let's see another example. This is Dan. Dan is a small business owner. He wanted to create an animated video to promote his company. This was his idea of a storyboard. I couldn't even read it. I'm dyslexic. The problem is, Dan and Louisa are not the only ones. These past 2 days, we interviewed more than 20 people in the creative industry and the students.
I'm a really, really bad drawer. I'm not very good at drawing. We get it already.
All these people have the same problem. They all have great ideas, but they don't know how to show it, how to explain it. Shadow is a solution for them. There are so many creative people, but there are lots of them don't have the ways to mock up quickly their ideas or explain it in a way that is cohesive and that the people that don't understand the language can understand. Actors, clients, anyone. Shadow is a very easy to use software, web-based, entry-level friendly. You can easily explain to your clients, to your teammates. You can collaborate with them. You can collaborate with other artists, receive and give feedback at the same time. It's accessible in any operation system. You can manipulate the image, the 3D assets, and create different images with multiple perspectives. Shadow is self-taught, with easy tools to use, tutorials, forums, and inspirations that can help the client along the way and the user. We are starting by targeting the 90 students across the UK that teach around 170 art courses. Every year, a significant amount of students will become freelancers, business owners, independent artists, and creators. These people will continue to use Shadow to further develop their techniques and the storyboarding game. We need to raise $500,000 seed funding to develop the platform, and we are expecting to be done up to 2 years. We will start with a fee of $9.99 per month. With that, we expect our growth will grow from around 500,000 from launch to over 4 million after 5 years, excluding the premium features and other assets created by a community of marketplace planned beforehand. Thank you so much for listening. This is Shadow. Unlock your storyboard. Thank you.
That was a fantastic pitch, thank you.
Thank you.
Just to dig into the money a little bit more, my understanding from the graph you showed, and you said you need $500,000 investment, are you expected to be break even in the first year?
Our business expert said we could do it. It's doable. The money would be mostly for human resources, so developers and people working on the project. And we want to develop the 3D assets even more, so people, as soon as they start using it, they will be hooked, because we don't have anything like this in the market right now. So that could change the whole film industry or creative industry to a whole.
So the assets you're going to have on the platform, are you going to develop all of them within your platform or use assets from elsewhere?
Yeah, so the plan is that users can create their own assets as well, and then would be on the marketplace as well. So they, as Canva, they have like templates that people can buy, and the creator has a share on it, and so does the platform.
And in terms of getting an MVP going, is there much difference between what an MVP would be compared to the full product?
Well, at the moment, it is working, but obviously we want to add a lot more of assets and features. For example, the shadow is supposed to have, we can change the light sources, add more, which we can, but we need more time to develop it and more people to develop it. And so I think the final product would be, it's very possible to make an incredible product, and it is doable and necessary for the creative industry. Okay. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Andso.
And my name's Honey, and we are Recycle Junkie. From our research, we found that 100% of people between the ages of 20 to 40 were consciously recycling. That's good, right? Well, 71% of those people said that they need to improve on their habits. They are either lazy, they lack knowledge, they don't have the time, and there's no space because they forget to put their bins out. Our friend Hayley over there forgets to put her bins out. And when she has no space, she just puts it in any bin.
Ooh. So you can do better.
We know there's a problem. We can see there's a problem. 50 million tons of waste goes to landfill each year. That's 50 million tons that does not need to go there. And I believe, well, I know that we can fix this through the correct methods of recycling.
So do you know what this science really means? All PET, LDPE, actually, I don't know. And probably you don't know as well.
Well, I know I don't.
So our app will help you to recognize this and make your life easier.
So imagine all of these problems were taken away and an instant solution to your problem. So you're getting rewarded for recycling, and you're building communities of recycling and changing the world, and you're actually educating families and bringing awareness to the problem.
So what does Recycle Junkie do, really? We have created an app which looks like that, easy to use.
Yeah, it basically has a very good interface and beautiful designs.
So what you have to do really, you have to pop up the camera, scan the item, and it's gonna say you whether it's recyclable or not, and how to actually, what to do with, how to recycle it right way.
Yeah, and so not only is it easy to use, you also gain points while you earn, which then you can exchange for rewards. And we've contacted a few local businesses, and they're all open to discussions about these schemes. And most importantly, we have the binfo for you.
So when you scan it and it's not recyclable, it will offer you an alternative choice, what to do with it. Then so you can make more sustainable choices. We can do this and work with businesses and partners. Imagine the value of data and insight of it. Local businesses and authorities will provide better services. Shops will understand customers better and provide sustainable options. This could be the future Nectar card for sustainable shoppers. So this app can go global.
And we know how much we need, and we have a little idea of how to get that. These could include, government funding, government grants, and also crowdfunding, and also with our partnerships, reward partnerships, we can get a revenue split with them, and we can also sell our very valuable data. All you need to do is scan it, bin it, win it.
So you can do better and we can help you. Thank you for your attention. All right. I even forgot that you will ask questions.
not about making money, it's about saving the world. So basically, any money we do make... Any money we do make will go into developing the app further and maybe even getting collections for when people need to go to tips. We can arrange people to do that.
It is all about to simplify your life, as let's say app will notify where to, when, and when push the bins out, so not forget them.
Yeah, well, Jason would say not to use the word non-profit, but yeah, that's basically what it is. Well, you're forgetting about the rewards. So the more you scan, the more points you earn, and these points can sort of be exchanged for rewards and discounts on certain... Well, our demographic is families... families who are busy and maybe don't have the facilities to recycle, and so we are going... words.
There is always going to be our kids to remind them, to teach them.
Yeah, we are hoping. So if they are getting rewards, that's an initiative for them to keep using the app. I know I would love to get rewards for recycling, but I love recycling anyway. Save the turtles.
Thank you.
I would bet that most, if not all of you, have had an idea at some point for a game, or a board game, or a tabletop game. And I bet nothing really came of it. It was just an idea. My name is Tim, and we are Dice Casters, and we're going to help bring your tabletop game to life. Board games are back, baby, and with a vengeance. Oh my gosh, woohoo! Board games, baby. It is a $12 billion a year industry. It is insane, and it is growing, and it's projected to grow a lot. Every generation is playing games. It's undisputable. I should have data to back that up. Saying undisputable is dangerous. Don't ramble. Oh, and don't say don't ramble. Just going to carry on. People who play board games love playing board games, and they love tweaking. Oh, yes, change this little rule here. That would make it more fun. Oh, what if we add this rule? That would make it amazing. They love to tweak and change, but they also love to create. They have new ideas for games. Games beget more games because playing them makes you want to play and make more games. But there's a problem. Once you have the idea, what do you do next?
Yeah, I've got an idea for a game. I've got a few ideas in my head and a few notes written down, but I'm not really sure what to do with it.
I was thinking of doing a board game and design, but I just sort of know what to do next with it.
I had a board game idea, got it in a fair way, and thought, how do I test this thing?
I'm in that video, and I don't like it. I spent the last 3 years developing a board game, and it was hard. It was harder than it needed to be, and it took so much longer than it needed to take as well. And that's where we come in, Dice Casters. We are a community of committed, enthusiastic board game developers. We have a tool that helps you take you from the idea phase to the fleshed out board game phase. We are a massive network of playtesters who want to playtest your game and want to get rewarded for doing so. And we are a marketplace where you can take your finished game and you can sell it to the people who want it. Our game design engine takes all the data you know about your game so far and uses data from other games and helps you think, hey, look, it's great, but your audience doesn't match with the mechanics you're using. And maybe you don't know what mechanics are, and it can help you with that part too. It's, hey, the game's great, but it's a bit too long. The turns are taking too long. Maybe there's not enough players. Maybe there's too many players. And the big one is, how does your game end? Games need to end. I'm sorry, they do, all of them. And once you become a member of Dice Casters, I keep almost saying Dice Masters. Dice Casters, that gives you access to the game engine tool. It also gives you access to premium art AI generation, and it also gives you access to the playtesters who can help playstest your games. Is that important? Yes, it's important. You must test your game or it won't be very good. So the playtesters, we spoke to people online, on Twitter, Reddit, Instagram. We went to the shops in Norwich, the cafes. Everybody we spoke to was like, yeah, let me playtest game. Put it in front of me. I want to playtest, please. We want to reward these playtesters with an NFT that represents their contribution to the game, their time, their work, their effort. And when that game goes to market and it sells, they get a portion of the profits. If that game sells really well, thank you very much. That's why we're using Web3 technology. We want to prove that this person has contributed to the game. We want to make sure that the relationship is between the creator and the tester. That is something that is immutable and it cannot be changed. That person can say, I helped develop Exploding Kittens, and no one can take that away from me. And then when you're finished, you take it to the marketplace and you sell away. In the first year, we expect we'll have about 1,000 users, £65,000 profit, and we expect to break even in September next year. We expect that in 5 years, we'll have a net profit of £26 million. The most important part about this is the community. It is gathering together the creators, the people who have these ideas and they want to make them. It's taking the collaborators, the people who want to help make them the best idea they can be. And we have the consumers who are like, yeah, give me those great games, I want them. But you don't have to belong to one group. It's very likely that someone is a creator, as well as helping someone else collaborate on their game. And they're like, yeah, give me that game, I'm going to buy it. We want to make this massive community a tight-knit, close, friendly place. Now we'll go back to the beginning. That idea that I said you had when you were younger, for an idea, it never came of anything. Let's make it happen.
Thank you very much. That was a great pitch. Really like the idea of the kind of membership community, the subscription model, but everybody has a great idea and they want to develop their great idea, and maybe that takes a few months. What do you do to keep them coming back month after month after they've succeeded or failed with their idea?
Yeah, so the game design engine isn't a one-stop thing. You use it, you put the data of the game in, you get that data, you put it into place. You get your testers to come and test the game. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm getting some weird feedback. People are complaining about this. Let's put it back in the game engine. I still have access to it because I'm still a subscriber. And they go back to it. And then, but the whole model benefits from the fact that, yeah, I might only be developing a game for 6 months, but I'm also a gamer. I'm probably going to do it again. I'm probably going to come back for 12 months because I've got a bigger idea for the next one. And then we've got the marketplace, and that's how we keep them without, they can't get away, sort of thing, but not horrible and sinister like I just made it sound.
Thanks for that. And the other thing, really like your idea about rewarding the testers for their part in the creation of a new game. Have you thought about whether you as a platform would also participate in the success, financial success of games developed on the platform?
We consider this a lot. The initial idea and the current idea, I'll be honest, is no. But I don't think it's ended there. It's definitely something for discussion, but then that comes all in the tokenomics and how, when we get, it would be really easy every time it sells on the game, but we're already taking a commission. I think the answer's Probably yes. And I think that's the best answer I can give you on that one. No further comment on that question.
Great, thanks very much.
They're scary. I'll be creepy now. So you talk about sharing the revenues by the NFTs being, an indicator of your involvement. How are you going to share the revenue? How is the person that's created the game, because they don't need to sell it through your platform, right? How is that revenue share actually going to materialize for those people?
That's a great question. We talked at length about this. The answer is, if they sell through their platform, it is really easy. It's verifiable and trustless. If they decide, actually, I want to sell through Amazon, we can't prove it. But there is the element of community. It's, hey, these 6 people, they made your game amazing. And now you're selling it on Amazon. And it's not like a guilt trip type thing, but it's more of you still have the option to share in the profits with them. You still know very easily who it was that tested them, their wallets, for example. So it's not that you can't, but it's that you can. That makes sense. I'll take that. Thank you very much. I see you all got your bribe. 3D printed dice. I'm glad you got that.
Cheers. Hi everyone, my name's Joe, and this is When in Rome. We connect travelers with local hosts to provide an authentic travel experience. So we've all been there, right? Missold, Instagram-worthy locations which turn out to be overcrowded and overpriced tourist traps. This is something we all want to avoid. The problem is that to avoid this, we spend hours scrolling through review sites and travel blogs, cobbling together a plan and hoping what we've found is an authentic experience. We surveyed around 250 people in the UK and in China, and almost everyone said that the 2 biggest concerns they had with traveling is planning it and being ripped off. So what do people want from a holiday? Our research shows that people thought their last holiday was too touristy. People said that they would prefer a more local experience. This shows there's a demand for a product that enables people to have that more local experience. Introducing When in Rome. We've developed a platform where local hosts can upload detailed itineraries, which are then chosen by the traveler based on the traveler's personal interests. It also provides for the option for the traveler to use the services of the local to book the activities set out in that itinerary. Let me take you through the user journey. Once you've entered your details, you'll be presented with suggested itineraries. If you like the preview, you can then buy the full itinerary. So the full itinerary would cost £5 per day. For example, this 3-day itinerary would cost £15. Once you have the full itinerary, you'll be told what needs booking. You can then either book it yourself, or you can get the local host to book everything for you. Our missions. We give a voice to the local community. People are proud of where they're from. When in Rome gives people the opportunity to teach others about their culture, and it puts money back into local businesses. However, arguably, the most important mission is to provide that authentic experience. Drink where the locals drink, eat where the locals eat, do as the Romans do. So there's a few websites in this space, the closest being one called Via Hero. However, When in Rome differs because firstly, every person making the suggestion will be a local person. Secondly, it's a lot more affordable and you know what you're paying for before you pay for it. So how do we make money? We take 50% of all the full itinerary sales. We then charge a 10% service fee on top of any booked services provided by the local host. And there are future plans for a membership fee for local hosts to upload their itineraries. These are our revenue projections. Our costs would roughly be about $250,000 a year for 4 full-time employees, marketing and other overheads. This means there would be a shortfall in the first year. We would need to raise around $250,000 to cover our initial first-year costs. This would be done by selling a 15% share capital to angel investors through an SEIS rounds and through other channels. So marketing. Norfolk County Council already expressed interest in this idea after my first pitch, so we're looking forward to talking to them and other councils about providing local guides. We'll also market it through these other channels. This idea is scalable on a global level. Introducing our Chinese division, Rushang Sui Su. So people all over the world will be able to travel like a local. Thank you.
Brilliant pitch, thank you.
Thank you.
How does this compare to or differ from Airbnb and now that they host experiences on there as well as accommodation?
So the difference would be the tailored. So everybody associates Airbnb with booking where you're staying. They don't associate it necessarily with those experiences. I think we can break into that market by providing those itineraries by the locals as opposed to sort of their AI recommended suggestions, much like other websites.
How are you going to attract and vet your experts?
So that is an initial first year issue, and it's why the growth in the first year would be a bit slower, because we would need to take time to make sure that the local people are who they say they are, and the itineraries are real. Yeah.
And have you checked your pricing model with any potential experts or hosts? Would they be happy with the fees that you'd be looking to charge them?
Yeah, so we did some research about what customers would be prepared to pay for, and there was definitely that desire to offer that flexibility between buying a cheap itinerary that can be, you know, it's not a one-off sale, it's a recurring revenue. So once that person uploads the itinerary, it can be sold multiple times, and then if that person wants to book, they can, but then it also has the potential for further revenue for that host.
Hiya. In your presentation, you mentioned that you'd be looking to raise $250,000 for 15% of the company.
Yeah.
So that would mean an implied valuation of just over 1.7 million for the company right now. How did you guys come up with that number?
Well, we think in roughly 3 years' time, it will be worth that. The initial figure was based on how much the cost would be, so we worked out the costs, and then we did research into what funding sources are available. We took advice on sort of what that trade-off would look like in terms of how much angel investors would invest and how much percentage we could give away. And we also looked at sort of funding such as Drive that would provide grants to startups based in the tourist industry.
Okay, thanks very much.
Cheers.
Which way is on?
Hello, I'm Claire. Tonight I want to talk to you about the menopause. It's a medical condition that will affect 50% of the world's population at some point in their life. And it's costing businesses money.
Do I feel different sometimes? Yeah. Is it because I'm having a bad day? I have quite a lot of anxious moments. But when it's happening night after night, and you're knackered, it's a real problem. I thought I'd got dementia. I kept forgetting things, and it really made me feel desperate.
So as you can see, this is a very personal pitch. I started getting symptoms. I was sleepless at night, I was anxious, and I was incredibly forgetful. And I had no understanding why that might be. And as you can see, I'm not alone. So to understand a little bit more about it, we issued a questionnaire, and we had the most amazing response in under 12 hours. Over 200 women, and right across the UK, into the States, and I think into New Zealand. We found our findings were very much reinforced our thinking. There's a lack of information, a lack of knowledge, and talking about the menopause is still a taboo in the workplace. So our solution, an early warning system. We want to help women get the treatment they need when they need it. So how will it work? Our idea is to take data from smartwatches, data that is already being created and collected, and use that data such as sleep patterns, anxiety levels, and temperature, and use this with a known medical model to provide data analysis on the user as to where they are on the road to the menopause. And because it's an early warning system, we need to get in before users are aware. So we want to do this in partnership with businesses, so that businesses can help us get it out to their employers, because menopausal women are the fastest growing demographic in the workplace. So the benefits. Obviously, for the user, understanding where they are in the fertility life cycle is important, and being able to be pointed to relevant information to that stage, as well as potential treatments, will enable them to get the help that they need when they need it. And the benefit means, and they will then be able to improve their performance, have a happier home life, and excel in the workplace. And on top of that, they will have better outcomes in terms of health through their later life. So why would businesses be interested? Well, 1 in 4 have such debilitating symptoms that they take over a month out of work each year for the due course of the menopause. And worse still, 1 in 10 women are quitting work. And this cost is huge for business in terms of lost productivity, recruitment, and training. So how will we build our model? We want, the initial stage will be the setup, using the medically validated straw model, together with data from the smartwatches. We will be able to start developing the analytics, and excitingly, the data collection will enable us to improve the quality of the predictions we're giving. And in time, we'll be able to roll out those predictions and really improve the recommendations we're giving in terms of the treatment, in terms of the signposting to treatment. So in terms of generating revenues, we want doing it in partnership with companies. We are going to create an annual license fee to subscribe to the platform, and then a per-user subscription of just £2.50 per user per month. In addition, we will have affiliate commissions through in-app sales. Now, we think this is going to cost us around £300,000 in the first 3 years to develop the idea. And we know that they're...
And breathe.
And breathe.
That was an excellent presentation. Thank you very much. Really
Thank you.
interesting. I was just interested in exploring a little bit further with you the employer proposition. So clearly for them it's a sort of fairly small-ish number of their employees, and they might be using other sort of health platforms and tools. So had you considered what else they might be using and how yours sits alongside a sort of broader offering in this sort of health and wellbeing space?
Yes, well, certainly. And to be honest, it could be a huge proportion of the workforce, depending on the industry you're talking about, whether it's healthcare, whether it's education. So it could be a huge part of the workforce. In terms of, we've done investigation into health and well-being, and from that is why we've pitched the price, the cost we have, because that seems to be a very reasonable price. And given the cost benefit of keeping women in work throughout the menopause, the cost is minimal.
Okay, great. And then from the women's perspective, the ones that sort of are tracking themselves, there's obviously quite a few other tracking apps out there. Have you thought of fertility apps, for example, as well? Have you thought about, again, how this might integrate and sort of work with other apps that women might be using?
Okay, so at this stage, we believe that there's a real gap for this perimenopause symptom tracking, because there are apps out there that do the fertility, that also do tracking, personal tracking of the menopause, you know, once you know that you've got those symptoms. But there isn't, there aren't apps out there that actually do the research, do the analytics, and come up with the prompts, and that's where our USP really is.
Okay, then my final question is just around the privacy and sort of how you encourage women to sort of think about these things with their employer, because you said it's a sort of taboo subject still, which it shouldn't be, but perhaps it is.
So
how
do you
overcome that?
It will be a very personal experience. You will download the app. In downloading the app, you are agreeing to share your anonymized data so that we can build our model, but the employer will not have any access to that. Sorry, could you just repeat have I got to the, have I answered the question?
No, I think you have to pretty much answer it. It's just that privacy sort of thinking that your employer might see personal data about you.
So very definitely, we will have a button within the app to take the user off to the employer's website, or potentially within a site that we develop, so that they can share. The employer can share specific information about the treatments, about the adaptations they already have in place. But we felt it was very important that it was outside of the app. We didn't want to share that. But also, just in terms of the taboo, we do feel that a community aspect within the app, enabling employees to share ideas and discuss issues around it, will also be important.
Hi, my name's Adam Sayed, and I'm a medical student at the UEA. Today I'm going to be talking to you about Elevate. This is a clinical hypnotherapy tool that we can use to reduce the symptoms of anxiety using modern technologies. Anxiety is pervasive in today's society. Everyone feels anxiety. It's that fear, that dread, that unease, especially when you're presenting in front of 100 people on a company you just made 54 hours ago. However, when anxiety starts to affect your day-to-day life, then it can become a problem. Anxiety disorder costs the NHS £71 million per year and affects 8 million people in the UK at any time. Let's go a typical scenario in which someone is diagnosed. This is Bob, Our designer spent a lot of time on him, so we hope you like it. Bob works in an office. He sometimes dreads going to work, often feels on edge, sometimes worries about his performance, he's worried about what his boss thinks of him, and sometimes he can't even get out of bed because his anxiety grips him so much. After months of feeling like this, Bob eventually musters the courage to go and see his GP. His GP sends him home with a bunch of resources, tells him to do some exercises like go for walks, be mindful, all that. But nothing works, and Bob gets worse. On average, Bob has to wait 6 months until he can get a diagnosis. Once Bob gets that diagnosis, he's thinking, great, now I can get some help, finally. But no. Bob has to wait how long until he can get some help? Days? Weeks? It's about 6 months, which is too long. That's where we want to step in. We want to be the intermediate between diagnosis and actually getting the help that you need. Elevate is a clinical hypnotherapy app that uses a combination of incentivization, AI, and other technologies to create a personal therapy plan based on a curated library of guided hypnosis recordings. Now, clinical hypnosis or clinical hypnotherapy is a type of mind-body intervention in which hypnosis is used to create a state of focused attention and increased suggestibility in the treatment of a medical condition. Now, this isn't Darren Brown getting you to come on stage and acting like a chicken. This is scientifically backed research behind this. For example, a recent meta-analysis looked at trials of hypnotherapy and found that it actually reduced symptoms of anxiety by 78%. Now, I want you to try it all with me. So we can dim the lights, and I want you all to close your eyes. And if you can take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now, I want you to imagine a lemon wedge in your left hand. Make this the most perfect lemon wedge you've ever seen. Imagine the pores in the skin, how the light reflects off the lemon, and feel the waxiness of the peel in your hand. Now, I want you to bring up this lemon wedge to your mouth and bite into it. Feel as the juices wash over your tongue and you taste the sour and bitter notes. Now, I want you to open your eyes. Did you feel your mouth salivate at all during this? This is the power of the mind influencing your senses and your body. This is similar to the power of hypnotherapy in action and how it works. So here's how our app works. The user enters their details, which shows their personalized avatar, which reflects your state of mind based on the mood meter. The mood meter is where you can submit your moods based on clinically based questionnaires on anxiety. Based on the inputs, the AI will predict what kind of hypnotherapy session is required, as well as other holistic tasks to do day to day. When people complete goals, their personalized avatar will grow better in mood. This is a subscription-based app. We will be licensing this app to the NHS. GPs will be able to prescribe this to patients who are waiting in this limbo. NHS procurement will take about 6 months. Therefore, our main audience within this time to ensure cash flow will be private individuals. Each program will last 12 weeks and cost £25 each. This is based on market research such as on competitors such as Headspace and Harmony. We need £250,000 to start up and keep us afloat until we gain this NHS procurement. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks very much. That was a really good presentation.
Thank you.
So you're using hypnotherapy, but could there be other techniques that could be used? Is it quite restrictive just using one technique within the app?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's within our kind of goal list. So within the hypnotherapy is our main selling point, but we also wanted to provide other goals for patients to take on, to take that more holistic approach, such as mindfulness, walking. Hypnotherapy is just one of the main things that we're focusing on, but that's a great question. Thank you.
You mentioned at the end there that you needed some funding until you can get yourself up and running with the NHS. What happens if that doesn't happen and the NHS don't want to work with you? How will you fund yourself?
I guess we'll have to go through angel investors and stuff, and we'll have to focus more on the private consumer base on that sort of things, but hopefully they should.
And just a quick question about the NFT. what's the benefit of that in your app over just an avatar?
So I think a big thing in healthcare is the basis of having your healthcare be secure. So all the data that the patient puts in the app. So this will be using blockchain technology, which is extremely secure and has been used by the NHS. So being able to present your NFT to your GP, they'll be able to track all your symptoms and see what's actually been going on. Patients can go into their GP and say, oh, I feel generally like this, but when the GP actually can see the data of, oh, they've actually had ups and downs and they can track it, that's actually more useful information. So that's why the NFT would be quite helpful, actually.
That's great. Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
So, hello. So how many of you here are parents? Put your hand up for me. Okay, so imagine you have been working all week. You've paid your bills, which is amazing, but you're left with just £3. What do? Do you feed yourself or do you feed your children? This is a question more and more people are having to ask themselves every week. Imagine having to ask yourself this question every single week. Behind me, a video has just played of 1,000 faces. That is a lot of faces. But that is only 1,000 of the 2.4 million people in April who went an entire day without being able to feed themselves because they couldn't afford to feed themselves. For me, this is something that's really close to my heart. And as I talk about it, I'm doing my best not to cry. When I was younger, I remember my mum struggling. I remember her giving me some shampoo, putting it on my hand, because that was all I was allowed to use to wash my hair, because she couldn't afford shampoo. That was a luxury. And more parents in the UK are having to make these tough choices. They're having to choose between heating or eating. So how do we begin to solve this problem? Introducing And. So And is a two-part solution. The first part is having parents come to a community hub. At this community hub, they will be able to get a nutritious meal to solve, or maybe not quite solve, but to at least help with that immediate need of hunger. But whilst they are at this hub, they are going to learn how to begin to break the cycle of poverty. We are going to show them how to do this by showing them how they can turn their skills into a business so they can bring more income into their household. Now, we don't want to just help these parents at the hub. We want to be able to support them away from these local events. One way we are going to do this is through our online platform. With this online platform, these parents will have access to resources, training, and personalized mentoring so they can learn how to turn their skills into a business to begin to break this cycle and bring more income into their household. How do I know this is possible? Well, just a few years ago, I was struggling to pay my bills. But since then, I have turned my expertise into a business that in a few years has generated over 7 figures. I want to help other parents to be able to also break this cycle of struggling every single month, having to choose between heating or eating. Now, on Thursday night, when I came up here, as nervous as I am today, as I do this, People in the audience voted for this idea to go into the top 10 so I could come back this evening and pitch this idea to you. You believed in this idea. But it's not just you who believed in this idea. Yesterday, we, in the space of a few hours, raised £20,000 in pledged donations from other people who want to support this. On top of that, we also raised 120 hours from business mentors, coaches, therapists, and business owners who want to support this every single month. We know we can't just rely on donations, so after today, we will be going away, doing fundraising, and applying for funding. We've also spoken to a local charity. This local charity already has volunteers, infrastructure in place to go around to supermarkets to collect food they would usually just throw away. We can use this food at our local meetups to be able to feed these parents. To begin with, we will start locally to prove we can do this, to prove this concept, but over time, we want to be able to move it into other locations. It's not just a charity, it's an opportunity to begin to break this poverty cycle. Thanks.
Hi there. Thank you for the amazing presentation. That was great. We did have some questions, but I'm just going to straight away go into the donations you said you have had pledged in this time. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, luckily through starting my business, we now have a very large network of business owners. And we only contacted a handful of them yesterday, and all of them came back, pledged thousands and thousands. And we still haven't actually heard back yet from a lot of the people that we have connected to. And it's just a tiny fraction. Like, we did this in a few hours, so could you imagine what we could do if we had weeks, months, and even years?
Wow, amazing, amazing. We were wondering, you know, in terms of the things that you would be trying to offer here in terms of food for people to eat and the courses, is there...
I can still hear.
Is there like a core competency for And? Is it the food side of things, or is it the sort of courses side of things? Like, what will separate you from everybody else?
So yeah, over the last 54 hours, this is a big thing. We've actually been going between the two. But the issue at this moment, a lot of the places, the charity, the organizations, the people we spoke to, there's so much help for the unemployed, but there's very little help for the working poor. I'm a great example of this a few years ago when I couldn't pay my bills. So we were deciding between the food and then the mentorship and the courses, but they're equally as important. These parents need a meal. They're starving, they're going hungry, but every single month they're going into that month overwhelmed, stressing. But we want to actually break that cycle. We want to give them a solution where they can get that immediate need met, but to stop them going into every month panicking through the support of the courses, the training, and the mentorship.
So if they're parents, they've probably got children that they might need to bring along with them. Will you be able to look after the children in some way whilst they're having their course and feed them?
Yeah, so over the last 54 hours, we've been looking at all of the different costs, including that. At the moment, to begin with, we're looking at times that would be most suitable for parents, but also considering the cost of having professional volunteers who are able to come to these events to support anyone who also has children there. We've worked out at the moment the average cost of each event will be between 160 and 170 pounds, which means if we did around one per week in the local area, it's going to cost around £1,100 for the year.
Hey.
We laugh now. We have lost touch with the sacred. We have cut our roots with Mother Nature. We have dismembered the ties to survivalism, and we've replaced them with brands, cosmetics, accessories. And people, we've forgotten how to socialize. Human beings, we are social creatures. It's encoded deep down in our DNA. Have you ever watched an episode of Bear Grylls or I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here? And you thought to yourself, I could do that. Well, now you can. Whether you're part of a group, whether you're going solo, whether it's a team-building activity, or whether you're looking for a child-parent bonding experience, we at Wild Streams are offering you the ultimate, absolute ultimate interactive live stream survival experience. Awesome. So how does it work? Well, it's quite simple. First of all, we gather our customers, and what we do is we give them a vigorous tutorial in survival. And then we blindfold them. We lead them into our fully prepped wild stream forest, and we leave them. We leave them with nothing but their survival training. And the best part of it all, you're on camera. Your complete experience is going to be broadcast live to an audience of friends, families, colleagues. And here's the best part. Here's the really, really good part. It's completely interactive. So imagine this, cameras strategically placed all around the forest, and what happens is that your customers here, what they can do is they can also control what's happening on a challenge. So they can also choose what type of challenges that the people are going to have to face. It could be, for example, making a bow, shooting a bow, eating a fish's eye, etc. And also, oh, someone say something now? Okay, right, and there's also a highlight reel as well, so people can catch up on what you've been up to, and your customers here can also chat. Next reel. Oh, okay. So we've looked into this, and we wondered, is there any competition? Is there anyone else out there that does something like this? The short answer, no. No one else does this. There are, of course, companies which offer survival experiences, but nothing about live stream or broadcasting or being interactive with what's happening. Now, we know there's money in this as well, because there are companies which are charging up to £800 for a 3-day experience, and that's just putting up a tent. Now, of course, we've done our research. We've looked into this, and we asked a bunch of companies, and the feedback here says 25% of people wanted an outdoor experience, and 88% of them loved the idea of this interactivity, which is perfect. It fits so well with our model, because that 25% can experience it. The other 88% can watch. How do we make money? Was that the first 4-minute warning, Bill? Excellent. So how do we make money? Very, very simple. First of all, we have our main experience package, and then we have stream monetization, highlight videos, merchandise, an online store, the list goes on. Now, of course, we will need an initial investment of around £320,000. Now, this is needed to, I forgot the word, what's the word? Lease the land. I always think the word assess the land. It's not, it's lease. To lease the land, to set up the equipment, get everything ready. And we're hoping in the first year to make a revenue of £210,000. In 2.5 years, we break even. And then year 3, in comes the profit. And we're going to be getting around £580,000. How do we know this? We've crunched the numbers. Okay. And also, our number of sites will increase exponentially. Okay, next page. But of course, we need a beta test. And fortunately, we've had a... Damn it. I panicked and I had to rush because I was running out of time.
Thank you very much, though. Despite the rush, it was great.
Thank you.
Can we just investigate? Do you think you can charge people just for dropping them in a forest, even if it's interactive? Or have you considered the cost of the wraparound, the barbecue afterwards, the training beforehand? How and where does all that happen if it does happen?
Well, the good fun part is this whole notion of just dumping someone in the forest and saying, okay, bye-bye, now give us £800. It sounds quite ridiculous when you do phrase it that way. But there is training, there is survival, there's this survival training of it. And at the same time, it's being broadcast to your friends and family or colleagues. And they're interacting. It's almost like you are in that TV show, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. But your audience is people you know, right? And they're also giving you challenges during this. And you can't interact with them. It's just, the camera looking at what's happening. And you're not alone, of course. You might be with a few other friends, trying to build a fire. So that's, yeah.
But just talking about that group dynamic, how do you deal with mixed groups who might all want different things, not want to have themselves live streamed, or maybe not want to be mooed at the middle of the night? How do you deal with that mixed group?
Well, we have different activities. There could also be, which I didn't have time to discuss, of course, we would have different packages. We could have one-day package. Doesn't necessarily have to be an overnight thing. We could offer up to 5 days if you're really, really hardcore. There is, of course, the whole privacy thing and being live streamed. You might be worrying, oh, what if I want to go to the toilet? Are they going to film me? No, it's not going to be like that, of course, naturally. But you would have to sign something to say, oh, I'm happy for this to be broadcast, and I'm happy for you to use my image in any promotional material, etc., like that. Have to sign like a waiver or something.
Thank you. Just finally, are you worried about the risk of people killing themselves?
Killing themselves how? Give me an example.
There are so many.
There are so many. Name one.
Falling in the fire.
Falling in a
Stabbing
fire?
themselves with that knife you gave them to skin the rabbit. I don't know.
Oh, no, we don't give them a knife. They make their own knife. That's the whole idea. I do hear you. All right. Is that okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hello. That is a wrap. That's all the pitches. Give it up for them! Awesome. Well done, guys. Maybe I'm going on a wild stream very soon. So we're getting to judges. We're going to ask you to retire and come up with your decision to distribute the £3,000 and the £500 bonus from Polygon. So you guys leave. And then the audience, we're now going to be voting the people's choice. So all the people that pitched, if you can come up here. Stand, maybe if we, stand here. Stand here. And then people, stand here. Go and grab a jar over there. And then where are all the tiddlywinks? Yeah, tiddlywinks. So audience, you've got one tiddlywink. So go and grab a tiddlywink. Maybe you got, just over there. Is there tiddlywinks on the left? Yeah. And you simply come and cast your vote with your tiddlywink. And you can also use the opportunity, once you voted, to go to toilet, grab a drink, because we'll be joining for a keynote very shortly. So everybody can vote, including the teams. Everybody in this room can vote.
So guys, Brad.
Hello. If you could get everyone in the room can vote. If you come down on the right-hand side here, you can pick up your tiddlywink and vote. We'll be closing voting soon, so make sure you get it in. It's all going good. Well done, dude. And also, while we're doing this, the Norfolk Network, we're giving away a membership. Lucy Marks from the Norfolk Network over there, she is going to choose who she gives the membership to. So we'll find that out. Has everyone voted? Votes close. I think this is the final. Okay, voting is closed. If you could bring your jars and just place them here, that would be great. Thank you. And we're going to start in 5 minutes with our keynote speaker. So if you need to go to toilet now. We'll be starting in 5 minutes. Okay, Okay, if you could take a seat, if we could dim the lights. Yeah, the judges are pretty much. Are they there? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So. Do we know who the winner is? Do we know who the winner is? What of the People's Choice? No, yes, no, I don't know.
Did you? What was his gesture? I didn't see it. Shall I get them all to come and have a sit down?
No, I'll do it.
Okay.
Speaking.
All right.
Speaking. Yeah. If everybody could take a seat. The judges are making good progress. Yeah, it's all good. Cool. Brian, if you could. Right. Okay, so next up we're going to have a 15-minute keynote by Catherine Wright. I've known Catherine for years. She actually helped quite early in the days of SyncNorwich when we started SyncNorwich 10 years ago when you were working in Tim O'Shea's office, and we hosted it in the office there at Seymour House. Catherine's got excellent experience working with actually quite a few tech startups in Norwich. Like if in my Gmail, if I type in Catherine and it auto-completes, it comes up with about 5 suggestions with different businesses she's actually been working at. So over to you, Catherine.
Thank you. Thanks, John. And he's right. I probably need to use that trust me thing to prove to people that I've done the jobs that I really have. I have my own business, but from being a lover of startups, I've spoken to a lot, and what generally ends up happening is I say, can I help somehow? And then, I normally end up doing something with them. So I've worked in digital, absolutely love the whole world of startups. Just going to grab my clicker. This was back when I was first working at Blurt It, and for those of you who only know the cloud, you might not know what these are. These are a server where we actually hosted our website so we could make the search on it faster. So there wasn't Elasticsearch or anything like, just purely cloud. We actually bought these and tried to host the site on them. For somebody who had only worked for 10 years in retail, it was a baptism of fire, but I absolutely loved it, and I got the bug, not just for digital, but for startups as well. And I came to SyncNorwich back in 2014, and I thought that this was an amazing idea, mainly because My Time sounded like Mai Tai, which is a cocktail, and I thought it was a really clever name. I spent most of the weekend getting somebody to make that logo for me because Canva didn't exist at the time. And I thought, people are going to book to have Botox in their homes, and we're going to make a fortune. The Twitter for it still exists, which is brilliant. It's still got 25 followers. Hasn't tweeted. I'll probably be kicked off unless I pay £8 or dollars, though, now. And Sean Clark, who unfortunately isn't here, is one of the founders of SyncNorwich and a massive contributor to Sync the City, and he did tweet, it's going to go down as one of those moments as, were you there when? And I feel like it was. A hackathon hadn't been run in Norwich at the time. It was really exciting. I think we held that first one here. We've held it at the Cathedral and other places since, but yeah, it's really exciting. Every year I think, I'm so tired, I don't know if I can do it. And then we get here on that Thursday night, we see those 1-minute pitches, and it is so exciting. And for a lot of the people who came along, it probably felt like the first day of school. I know Hayley touched a little bit on it earlier, but this photo actually went viral when parents, do that thing in September, they all upload these pictures of their children starting school. And that's a little bit, people came along, everyone was strangers, it was a big place, they didn't know what the 54 hours was going to look like. The reason this one went viral is because the mum shared the picture of how she looked at the end of her first day. And I don't mean to be rude, but that is how a lot of us certainly look and feel going into this evening, having eaten Skittles. I saw lots of Greggs packets and lots of coffee as well. So in Gatorland, when they take tourists round, every day the guy says, if somebody jumps in and makes it to the riverbank past the crocodiles or gators, I'll give you £1 million. Nobody ever takes him up on the offer, and one day a guy jumps in, makes it to the edge, and the owner's giving him his £1 million prize, and he says, nobody has ever taken me up on that before. What made you do it? And he said, I was pushed in. And that's what the mentors are here to do. So for any of the people in the teams who originally didn't want to pitch or felt like they had a couple of hands in their back, forcing them forwards, even though they were reluctant, that's what the mentors are for. And they all give their time up completely voluntarily, completely for free, you know, till late each night. But it's because we really love taking what we know and developing people around us. And these are some of the mentors. Woo! Let's hear it for the mentors. Thank you, thank you. And a lot of these guys have businesses, they might be small businesses or startups that are running in and were founded in Norwich. And it can be really tempting to think, like, surely you have to go somewhere bigger than Norwich. But there's a really nice thing about looking, you know, if I think of Norwich, this is what I think of. I think of all these local businesses who are employing people, helping people pay their mortgages, you know, paying good maternity pay, day in, day out, and carrying the weight of that responsibility with them as well. There's loads of other great things about Norwich. Houses are cheaper than they are in London. Not cheap, but cheaper. You can rent desk space from £150 a month, and you're looking at £50 a day for co-working in London. You're 20 minutes from the coast and only a stone's throw from the countryside as well. The other benefit of being in Norwich is that we are only second to London in terms of average salaries. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? So you get a great work-life balance, which I've used that picture because it's not easy. The balance isn't necessarily easy, especially in the world where we're digital and we're online, and it's so easy to just think, well, I'll just hop on my computer when I get home. But given that people don't have to commute for the hour or 2 hours, I think that goes a long way to adding to the balance. We're also a really strongly networked community. I mean, you could probably hear the cheers and the whoops that were going up as everybody came onto the stage, whether it was your team or somebody else's. I think everybody, you know, gets a lump in their throat when they see somebody get up here who was, you know, perhaps very shy to begin with and then has really made strides over the past couple of days. And there isn't anybody in this room who couldn't connect with one of the mentors or somebody else they've seen here, connect with them on LinkedIn and say, could you look at my CV for me? Or I was thinking about learning Python. Who would you recommend? How would I go about that? Which I think is a really unique thing to our community here. This is what most people think of when they think of Norwich. If I drive to London, I always get asked if I got stuck behind a tractor. It's quite offensive. But this is what I think of when I think of Norwich. I think of all of that network. I think of how beautiful it is. And I think you might not like a company you work for. You might look at a job spec and think, well, they don't really offer any great benefits. Well, you know what? You might go away from here today and decide that you're going to form a company that offers all those things that you've wanted a company to offer. And it might not be over this weekend, you know. You might have got the goosebumps and you might have got the bug, but it might not be tomorrow. But at some point, you might think, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start that business. And I hope you do it in Norwich and not where the streets are paved with gold in London. And so I just want to sum up with some brilliant things I heard at Sync. I don't have my glasses, so I'm going to stand a bit closer. When I asked people what they said it was coffee-filled. They said it was the most fun sleep deprivation I have ever had. And I did see somebody having a little nap on the floor earlier. Very sweet one I heard. I feel like a real developer. A student said it was their first real professional experience and that it was really cool to be working with other professionals in the business that they want to be going into, which is exactly what we're aiming for. No egos at play. I don't think there's a lot of us can always say that about where we work. Refreshingly intense. One of the mentors, this was a mentor sending their team up to the tech demo, and they said, feel like sending my children off to slaughter. And quite simply, ah! So there we go, that's us on the last day of school. Thank you very much, and I have already heard some pitches for next year, so make sure you come back.
Cool. Thank you, Catherine. I don't know. Have the judges' decision been made? Is it? Julie, just want to check for a second. Remain seated. Can we play the third video just while we're waiting? Thank you. Hi, we're here down at King Centre.
It's definitely for fun, without a doubt.
And I'm going to monetize it up the yin yang and
Cool. So, where are the judges? Oh, okay, you're going. Yes, so they've made a decision. If you don't win tonight, don't be sad. What you guys have achieved in the last 54 hours is amazing. You know, we saw, like, all those presentations we saw today started with nothing on Thursday, joining a team with people, that they first time they'd met. So it's amazing to see that what's been produced in that short space of time. So without further ado, we'll hand over to, so Alice, you're going to do the People's Choice? Oh, okay, yeah, no, double act. We've got a double act. Here we go.
Wow, this was well planned. Or maybe not.
This is going to be chaos.
So, that was incredibly exciting, and I had an amazing time with all the other judges who are all far more insightful than I was, luckily. But yeah, we are really happy to entertain on what we think was the most entertaining presentation of the whole night with Wild Streams. So, come on, give it up for them. Come on. And I think from very early on, we were struck by the amazing brand work that had gone into And, but then it was like the passion that we felt, all of us up on the stage. It really took our breath away. So we want a round of applause for them as well. Come on, guys, come on. And then, hang on, I don't know. Yeah. Well, I'm going to say that a little bit later. I think I'll say that down there. I'll just let you take over on these, and then we'll do that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. We planned this, obviously. Sorry. Do you want me to hold that while you're doing it? There you go. I'll just hold it for you while you're doing your thing. Yeah.
Thank you. I said it would be chaotic, didn't I? So we're going to announce the People's Choice. We really, really loved this one, and obviously everyone else did as well. So I think they're going to come up to the stage to take this from us. So the People's Choice is Recycle Junkie.
Woo! Come get it. There you go. This photograph. Come on, guys. Come and take your thing. You've got to take this off us and get your photos. There we go. Come on. Come on. Oh. Hayley, do you want to say anything while you're up here?
I'm literally a mess. I can't. I was crying through the whole thing. I was crying out there when I saw the rehearsals. And honestly, for those of you who was here on Thursday night, like, we had someone that I had to beg at the back there to come up and share her idea. She thought, and actually some people quite close to her told her it wasn't a very good idea. What do you want to say to those people now?
I don't know.
I put her under pressure now. But yeah, honestly, like, the journey this team have been on is absolutely incredible, incredible. I am so, like, beyond proud, and I'm so pleased that you all saw it too. Like, well done, guys, well done.
Roving reporter Hayley there. Wow. Well done, everybody, well done.
We're completely ignoring the order.
Yeah, let's not follow that. We'll do it. Let's
Just
do our
ignore
own
the
thing.
slides.
Yeah.
Fine, okay.
We're up here now. They can't stop us.
We're going to do the NFT award now, if that's okay. Perfect. So these guys, we really liked how they added NFT to essentially make more of a community with their business idea. And instead of it being absolutely everything and at the heart of their business, actually it added value alongside their original business idea. So our winner for the NFT award is Dicecasters.
They got to hold something. Come on, guys. Come on. We need the photos. Come on. Oh. No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It was all so positive. Whew. That's what I guess. Let's do that. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah. So before we get to the sign that nobody has seen yet, that's really important. We wanted to actually, make a special mention for the people that made this choice the hardest, the runners-up, who were Enhanced Interiors. Where's Enhanced Interiors in the room? It was clearly a great product, a great team, and we loved the presentation. It was hilarious. And you would have had it if it wasn't for our overall winners, who are Trust Me. Come on. Get up here.
Well done, that's a wrap. Well done, guys. Cool. So we're almost there. What an awesome evening. Excellent effort. We've got to say our thank yous. We thanked our sponsors a lot, but there's a whole bunch of other people that volunteer their time to make this happen. So I'm going to thank some of them now. So we've got Julie. Julie's been involved. Let's give it up for Julie. She hates this part. Where are you, Julie? I'm sure we've got some Prosecco for you. Thanks, Julie, Julie's the numbers person behind all this, getting all the sponsorship in and making sure it's viable. Hey, there she is. There's Julie. Hey. She's been helping organize from the beginning. Very, very special person, Kat. Newcomer. We got something more than you. Yeah, we got something special for you, Kat. So Kat, she joined the organizing team, I think like 2 weeks ago or something, 3 weeks ago, and got us into ship shape. She has been here from morning till evening. She can't sleep at night. She hasn't slept because everything's going ahead. She's already thinking about next year. It's a very complicated event to put together, so many moving parts. Really appreciate all your time, Kat. It's really amazing. Really amazing. Thanks. She really cares. We also got all the student ambassadors wearing their pink top. Give it up for them. Thank you very much. Just keep the clapping going. Mr. Cutting, he's doing the camera at the back there. Paul Cutting, again, thanks for your effort. Again, we got to give it up for the mentor team. In particular, the lead mentors, Catherine and Tom. Tom, where's Catherine and Tom? And Tom, Mr. Wood, there he is. Come down here, Mr. Wood. And all the mentors, come on down and get your Prosecco. Thank you. We're quite strict with the mentors. They're very busy people, but we tell them that you have to fully commit from Thursday all the way through to Saturday. They're all very busy people, parents, running their businesses. So we really appreciate them giving up so much time to make it happen, and they really care. Floyd, everyone read? So we had Simon Floyd. He's a street performer actor. He's been doing performance coaching. He's actually left now, but he's not here now. Yeah, but Simon. Mr. Stevenson, the man behind the camera, there he is. Come up, getting our best sides. Got a nice picture there with his kids. I thought I'd put that. It's very sweet, isn't it? I only get to see Tim once every year. We hang out, and it's just good fun. And then till next year. See you next year. That's what we do, isn't it? Tim's captured the images since the beginning, since 2014. Although you've lost 2014 photos, haven't you? Yeah, no. Okay. Thanks, Tim. Right, who's next? The King Centre staff. Yeah. They delivered excellent food. I mean, we've been running around and we say, we need this, we need that, we need this, and they just do it with a smile. Really good. One final thing, two final things. So Tim from Rome, no. Well, the startup, as the Romans do, what's the start? No, when in Rome, yeah. So he's won the Norfolk Network membership. Yeah, so you joined the Norfolk Network. Huh? Was it? Oh. Okay, so Techathon. So there's another hackathon that actually happens. This is targeting, I think, kids up to 16 years old. So I highly, I'm promoting this. We don't organize it, but yeah, they need volunteers. It's in February half-term 2023. They've done it a few times. So make sure you Google it, look it up, and if you can volunteer your time or send your kids to this event, if they're under 16 years old, or just, call Claire up directly. She wants support. She wants you sent to your kids. So highly recommend getting involved. Really good event. I think. Nope. What?
He always does this. He forgets one. Thank you, doesn't he? I'd like to ask us all to show our appreciation for Mr. John Fagan, the Codemeister, the godfather of community. Yeah, and what a great show you've given us again this year. Thank you, John.
Cool. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Yeah, so it's just going down the pub now, isn't it? We're all going to go Brewdog for the after party. See you all there, and see you all next year. Cheers. Bye-bye. Good. Oh, yeah, I was meant to say thank you to the judges, but it's gone now. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Kat.